most owners, the decision to euthanize their horse isn't an easy one to make, with many often wondering if they are doing the right thing. Joining me now is Andrew Harrison, one of the veterinary surgeons here at the Three Counties Equine Hospital. So Andrew, what should you do if you find yourself in this situation?
Adele, I think this is a really difficult decision for all owners to make, and it's a decision which we've all been faced with from time to time. But I think involving your veterinary surgeon in that decision-making process is really important. They'll be able to advise you on two things. Firstly, what is the most appropriate method for euthanasia, but I think just as importantly, when is the right time to have your horse put down? I think that is a very difficult decision that we all find making. There may be occasions, so for example if your horse has got colic and isn't responding to treatment, or if the horse is too painful or too sick to be transported to the hospital for surgery, or if the horse has a catastrophic fracture or a severe injury, a severe wound into a tendon or into a joint, it may be in those situations that euthanasia is the only option. However, one thing I would advise owners, warn owners about is if the horse is insured, the insurance company will only pay out if destruction on humane grounds is the only option, treatment option available. If there is any doubt in your mind about whether this is the case, you may wish to contact the insurance company. Alternatively, if you go to the BEVA website, the British Equine Veterinary Association website, there are guidelines on there talking about destruction on humane grounds.
Andrew, what type of questions should you be asking yourself when making this type of difficult decision?
I think making that decision is really, really hard. As a veterinary surgeon, what I look for is the animal losing weight, and particularly when I say losing weight, I mean losing muscle mass. Has the pelvis suddenly become quite bony? That horse is getting weaker. Is the horse struggling to get up or down? Is the horse in a group of other horses, and is it being bullied? Can the horse walk across the field normally? Is it eating normally? Are its droppings normal? These are all factors which will help me try and make that decision as to when is the right time. In the ideal world, it would be nice if the horse just passed away in the night, but unfortunately it doesn't happen like that. Very rarely does that happen, and we do have to make that really difficult decision.
If euthanasia does turn out to be the best option, what should owners expect to happen next?
The two methods of euthanasia which we use is either the use of a firearm, or more commonly, and most owners do opt for this, is use of an injection. And by that I mean injecting an overdose of an anaesthetic. The horse will be sedated initially, followed by the injection, and after 30 seconds to a minute the horse will lie down, as you can see in this video footage here. This is a horse which is being anaesthetised for a surgical procedure, but the process of the horse lying down will be very similar. One of the last things it will do will be to give two big sighs. There may be some limb movement. These are all normal involuntary activities which occur after the horse is euthanized, but it is no longer conscious, it's not aware of what is going on. And it is something that owners should not be alarmed by.
So the other method, Andrew, is shooting, but we all assume that that isn't as humane, but that's actually not the case, is it? Not
at all. There's nothing inhumane about using a firearm. In certain cases, it may be preferable to use a firearm. If the horse, for example, is needle shy, then it would be very difficult to inject it with the overdose of anaesthetic, as we've discussed. There also might be cost implications as well as far as using a firearm is concerned. The injection that we use actually costs up to £100, whereas using a firearm is a lot more economical. It does give the owner more options in terms of how to dispose of the horse once it's been euthanized. Some owners may decide to send their horse to a horse slaughterhouse, obviously depending on the status of the horse's passport.
Would someone in this case have to make their own arrangements, or is it something that their vet could organise for them?
Owners can make their own arrangements, but often I will make the arrangements for them as the veterinary surgeon. Removing the horse once it has been euthanized isn't something which is easy to do, and probably isn't something I would recommend that owners see. I would say that I would not be present when the horse is taken away from your premises. In terms of what happens with the horse afterwards, you can either opt for a communal cremation. Alternatively, you can have individual cremation. However, that is really quite expensive, up to £1,000 to have the ashes back from your horse. Some owners do like to have keepsakes, like a piece of mane and tail. Some owners do even more extravagant things, and for example, get the hoof from the horse and have that polished up and made into an ornament as a keepsake.
Andrew, do you have any advice on how to cope with losing a much loved animal?
I think this is a very difficult time for all horse owners, Adele. I think there's a sense of grief, having lost a member of the family, which is like losing a relative or a close friend, but also there's an element of guilt there. I think talking to somebody that you trust, maybe your veterinary surgeon, reassuring yourself that you have made the right decision, these are things that can all help during that grieving process, which I think is quite a normal thing to do.
Thank you, Andrew. And if you would like any more information on this topic, please visit the Animal Welfare Foundation website. Thank you.